Well guys, we're back at it again. Another video critiquing the game that owns my soul. So the last time I talked about this game, it was certainly divisive. Yes, I got some things wrong regarding the understanding of Crow's journey through the portal and the story of the dungeon, but I'ma be real. Whoopsies. So to amend some of the flaws from that video in my discussion on the state of the game, I'll be revisiting some of the topics regarding the story and its formatting. So without further delaying the discussion, let's just get into it. Okay, one of the main things I wanted to talk about today was how seasons have played out and overall how the format of a live service style game has been hurting Destiny since its conception. Destiny 2 became free to play under the New Light title on October 1st, 2019, followed by the game's release on Stadia the following month, and we all witnessed how well that turned out. Ever since this free-to-play style of game and Bungie's split from Activision, Seasons became a thing alongside the amazing expansion that is known as Shadowkeep. Now yes, you can say what you want about Activision's greed and all that, but let's be honest. I think Activision and their various studios that worked on D2 helped keep Bungie at bay and gave us a variety of seasonal activities. Most of, if not all, the community's favorite seasonal activities came from when Bungie had Activision's backing. Now, people say Activision was greedy, and sure, they are a very greedy studio, no one's denying that. But modern Bungie seems no different. I mean, look at Eververse as a prime example, and selling dungeon keys for $20 per pop? Season prices have increased, and pre-orders for expansions have only gone up. This is funny considering how the Final Shapes pre-orders have been, but we'll get to that later. When you think of a good seasonal activity with nice loot pools, you usually think of the Menagerie. Now, to give credit where credit is due, the Coil has been a pleasant surprise this season, but it's far too little too late. In regards to the seasonal story, they've been very hit or miss. I say the best ones were Chosen and Splicer. Not for the activities or formatting, god no, definitely not the formatting. Speaking of formatting, I mentioned this in my last video talking about D2, but boy howdy has it gotten stale. I know, bold statements only on this channel. We've done the same song and dance for years now. First it was the grid format, now it's whatever the hell we've been stuck with for all of Lightfall seasons. Bungie has been stuck doing the same seasonal model for over 6 years. Does anyone else remember that tweet from Mr. Blackburn? The one that said we'd be getting a shakeup later down the line, mainly in the latter half of Season 21 and most of Season 22? Now, yes, with Season of the Deep we got a mini-seasonal challenge system to give some variety, and with Season of the Witch we did get the Deck of Whispers, which was a nice change, and yes, I did praise that in my review of the season, which I recommend you give a watch, but that's not enough. Sure, I'm a little more understanding of Deep because we were told from the get-go that the season was already through the halfway point of development. But with Witch and Wish, there isn't much of an excuse because they had plenty of time to digest our feedback from Defiance and Deep and adjust Witch and Wish accordingly. With Wish, we didn't get an equivalent to the Deck of Whispers. We got our usual vendor focusing and mini seasonal challenges, but that's it. Oh well, just chalk that up as another failure on Bungie's part. Each season this year has tried to shake up the formatting, but alas, falls into the same trap of doing a thing, going to the helm, standing there and getting talked at, walking 5 feet to listen to a hologram, go do an activity, go back to the helm, stand there and just get talked at, listen to a radio, rinse and repeat the next week. They've got it down to a T. Sure, in Chosen they threw a quote-unquote curveball at us with Amanda's death, but it was such a baffling, pointless death that not even the amazing voice work from the late Lance Reddick could salvage the stupidity of the decision. Then comes Season of the Deep with the origin of the Witness. A cutscene that, mind you, when the final shape comes out, will be vaulted. My Name is Bife made a good point in a video he made recently of how the timeline we have access to needs a massive overhaul, or that Bungie should have a more specific key moment cutscenes to catch up new players. For being 100% honest here, new and old players alike who don't follow the story bit by bit, crumb by crumb, have absolutely no idea what's going on. With the abysmal New Light experience, it's not hard to see why fresh players are turned away almost immediately. And don't get me started on the pop-ups.
Sabrina Spellman?
Yeah, say Josephine for Sabrina Spellman.
She knows what Sabrina means, right?
Yeah. I think I've just taught her that. She'll figure it out, fucker. Go to the fucking tower so I can get goddamn... Bro!
I genuinely don't know how the formatting of the new episodes will go. The only thing we know for certain is that each one is split into 3 acts. If these acts remain in the same structure of seasons, then this game is good as dead. I mean, look at the latest Kills the Justice League game, and how it has done a live service model. Live service games are on the way out, and $10 indie games are the new go-to. Look at Lethal Company and Helldivers too. Those are popping off and are very accessible. They don't cost $60 just to get a bare bones game that'll be patched together and then thrown out once completed, only for a sequel to be launched. I really hope Bungie knows what they're doing. I think it goes without saying, but Bungie is going to lose players no matter what happens when the final shape releases. One could say it's inevitable. But here's the catch. Bungie could salvage things if they stick the bloody landing. They've kept the final shape in the oven rather than releasing it early. Oh, by the way, happy original launch day to this expansion. I think one thing is clear with the final shape. It has to succeed. A lot is riding on this expansion, and that's not exactly an easy task, considering this is the penultimate expansion in the Light and Dark saga. One thing people are voicing their major concerns about is the reason to log in every week and play. Not just for the sake of listening to dialogue or doing an activity, but a real pull that would spark player interest. Sure, every destination has its secrets, but think about it. We're going inside the pale heart of the Traveler, and the potential here is insane. Imagine we had hidden challenges scattered throughout once you completed the campaign that would open up windows to the past for a mini boss fight that would serve as both a way to spark engagement from old players and fill in the gaps for new ones. Also, don't let the overarching story threads leave the campaign. Keep them contained so we can actually experience and understand them. Let episodes be their own thing that can wrap up loose ends that we haven't touched yet. Which I think is what they're doing, but only time will tell. My main worry, and the worry of my friends, is that there is the potential for this campaign to pander to those who haven't played the previous stories. Which it should not do. We can't spend the campaign catching people up only to then kill the witness. This story needs to focus on the light versus dark aspect we've been building up towards. If it focuses on the new supers too much like Lightfall did with Strand, or panders to the part of the community that isn't caught up, then the stakes are instantly lowered. Now, I'm not saying don't have a means to catch new and out-of-the-loop players up. Quite the contrary. Have an adjustment made to the timeline and have all the key cutscenes documented in-game. Not on a YouTube channel people won't always pay attention to or know exists. Have it accessible in the damn game we're playing. Just like the fix they did with the Grimoire cards. Yes, there will no doubt be a cutscene that summarizes the seasons as Lightfall did, but that wasn't enough. Look at how amazing Season of the Seraph's finale was, the tension and stakes being raised, only for it to be fumbled with the expansion's delivery. Now, I am aware that Season of the Wish has one final part to it story-wise based on what leaks have been saying, but as far as I can tell, it seems very disconnected from us sending Crow through the portal, and it is just us dealing with the Soul Divisive for good. I know I seem like Mr. Negative all the time when talking about this game, but that's because I am frustrated to see a once beloved company fumble the bag this close to the end. They did such an amazing job with the Halo trilogy, they delivered with Reach and ODST, then they got stuck in the loop of failure and success with Vanilla D1 through Lightfall. This pattern has pretty much killed the franchise's chances of success, because we've had our trust tested so much that the well is now dry. I know most of my group is leaving the game behind after this expansion, some even having done so already since Lightfall dropped. Many in the community plan to do the same, but the subreddit isn't holding out hope. But that's not really surprising, that place is a toxic cesspool. I want this final expansion in the Light and Dark saga to succeed, I really do. But my hope is very fragile, and with the little marketing we've seen, it doesn't really look like it'll be anything too crazy. No sneak peeks at the Witness in any of the trailers so far besides seeing its unibrow again. No new enemy races, lots of nostalgia baiting locations, no new Darkness super, 2 mediocre looking supers, and a reskinned solar one. And no sign of our Lord and Savior Nimbus. That last part was a joke. Bungie clearly doesn't want the Neomuna storyline anywhere near this expansion, and for good reason. Will Final Shape save Destiny? I'm not so sure, but only time will tell. Also, give us Wrath of the Machine. Jacob desperately needs it.
Пошел нахуй, даун ебаный, ебал ты, блядь, свинью пидорасов, сука, блядь!
If there's one thing I want people to take away from this video, and hell, if any Bungie employees happen to see this, is that I want the Final Shape to be the big hurrah it deserves to be. I want us to become legends, but you can't entirely be upset by the sea of doubt and negativity considering the state of Lightfall and its disconnected seasons. Seriously, besides the last-minute connections at the end of each season telling us basically to go fetch another MacGuffin or find another creature, only to have to do the exact same thing next season, there's been not much to keep us going. Yes, I understand Bungie had to make a whole new expansion and subsequently 4 seasons when executives wanted to squeeze this cow dry a little more. And I appreciate the effort, but I can still be disappointed. I will be covering the whole story of Final Shape and how the expansion and its episodes play out. So if you're interested in seeing those things later down the line, then hit the subscribe button. Maybe even turn on the bell. Oh, and before I go, here's a teaser for my next video essay. It's going to be a long one, probably my longest yet. I've been Fawn Umbrella 612, and I hope you have an amazing day. Stay frosty.